This is a vegan chocolate mango entremet. Coconut DACQUOISE at the base, and mango and lemon gelée running through the center, dark chocolate mousse surrounding all of it, and a finish of cacao butter velvet spray with a vegan tulle on top. Completely plant-based, and yes, we're going to cut it open, and yes, it looks exactly as good on the inside as well. I have 10 separate videos on the mango insert and the chocolate mousse, and if you want the deep dives on those two components, the links are in the description, but this video stands on its own. Everything you need to make the whole cake from, start to finish, is right here. Before we touch a single ingredient, I want to talk about scheduling. Because an entremet is a scheduling puzzle first and a baking project second, here's how I split it. Day 1, make the mango insert and the DACQUOISE. Both freeze well, so once they're done, they're done. Day 2, make the mousse and assemble. The whole thing goes into the freezer overnight. Day 3, velvet spray and decoration. That's it. 3 days of relaxed, focused work, and on the day it matters, all you're really doing is finishing. Let's start with the DACQUOISE, because it's the component most people haven't made before. A DACQUOISE is a nut meringue, a crisp shell slightly chewy within, and sturdy enough to hold the weight of mousse and gelée insert above it without collapsing. It's not a sponge. You don't want softness here, you want structure. For vegan version, we're using aquafaba, the liquid from a tin of chickpeas. And the most important thing to do first is reduce it. Simmer it down in a small pan until you have 120 grams. That concentration of protein is what makes it behave like a proper meringue when you whip it. Thin, watery aquafaba just won't get there. Once it's reduced, cool it completely. Add a quarter teaspoon of cream of tartar and start whipping. Cream of tartar lowers the pH slightly, which tightens the protein bond in the foam and makes your meringue more stable. You stream in 100 grams of caster sugar gradually while it's running. You're going for stiff, glossy peaks, and this takes longer than egg whites, so give it the full 8 minutes. Don't rush it. Into that meringue, we fold 80 grams of toasted shredded coconut, 40 grams of almond flour, 20 grams of plain flour, and a pinch of salt. 2 additions, big rubber spatula, and stop the moment you see no more dry streaks. Spread it onto your pan with a parchment. Bake at 170 degrees fan for 18 to 20 minutes until golden and just dry to the touch. Cool fully before you use them. And if you're working ahead, they will freeze beautifully. The mango insert. We're making a mango gelée with agar-agar as the setting agent. 400 grams of Alfonso mango puree, blend it smooth and pass through a fine sieve. 60 grams of sugar, lemon juice and zest, and 3 grams of agar. The agar goes into the cold puree first. Whisk it in thoroughly before you apply any heat. If agar hits a hot liquid all at once, it can lump and you will have lumps in your final insert, but no amount of whisking will fix it. Bring it to a full boil over medium heat, whisking constantly, and then hold it full boil for 90 seconds. That's the activation window for agar. It needs to reach 100 degrees and stay there long enough to fully hydrate. Off the heat, stir in your diced fresh mango, pour it into a 16 cm ring lined with cling film, or use a silicone if you have one, then transfer to the freezer overnight. It needs to be completely solid before it goes into the cake. The mousse. It almost always comes down to the same mistake, and that is not chilling the coconut cream long enough or using a brand that doesn't separate properly. Let me be very clear about what you need. Full fat coconut cream, refrigerated overnight. The fat needs to fully solidify and separate from the liquid below it, so you can scoop only the thick layer off the top. That fat content, which is around 24% in a good full fat tin, is what makes it whippable. It behaves similarly to dairy cream in that regard. Warm coconut cream or the water liquid underneath will not form a stable foam. You will get something that looks like it's working and then collapses the moment you fold in the chocolate. Scoop the thick cream into a cold bowl, whip the soft peaks, and then stop there. Don't over whip it. The chocolate base is 200 grams of 70% dark chocolate melted, then add 60 milliliters of warm oat milk, a couple of tablespoons of icing sugar, vanilla, and a pinch of salt. Once melted and smooth, let it cool to 35 degrees. When it's too hot, it will melt the fat in the coconut cream. When you fold them together, which will result in the mousse deflating and you will end up with dense, fudgy layer instead of something light. But if it's too cold, the chocolate starts to set before you finish folding, leaving you with lumps. Use a thermometer. Guessing here is expensive. Fold 1/3 of the coconut cream into the chocolate first, just to loosen it and bring the temperatures closer together. Then fold in the rest in 2 more additions using slow J strokes and working quickly. The mousse firms as it cools, so once it's made, you're going straight into assembly. No leaving it on the counter while you tidy up. Prepare your silicone mold. I am using 16 cm one. Pour a 1 cm layer of mousse into the base. Use a spoon to spread it all over the sides to not have any gaps, and if you see it's a bit too liquid, put it in the freezer for 15 minutes. This seals the bottom and gives the insert a firm surface to sit on. Place that mango insert in, press it gently level. You have about 30 seconds here before the mousse underneath has firmed too much to adjust it, so be decisive. Then the DACQUOISE disc on the top, fill the remaining space with mousse and use an offset spatula to smooth the top completely flat, because whatever's on that surface when it freezes is what the velvet spray will follow. Then into the freezer, minimum 6 hours, overnight if you can. Pull the Entremet straight from the freezer. It needs to be fully frozen, not just firm. If you're using a silicone like me, try to be fairly quick in unmolding and try not to damage the cake in the process. Work fast from this point. The surface needs to still be frozen when the velvet spray hits it. For the finish, I use a pressurized cacao butter velvet spray, the kind you find from professional pastry suppliers, pre-mixed and ready to use. The science behind it is actually quite elegant. The spray is essentially cacao butter in liquid form, and when those tiny droplets hit a frozen surface, they solidify on contact. Each droplet sets the instant it lands, and the accumulation of thousands of them is what makes that distinctive velvety matte texture. One practical note: do this in a well-ventilated spot. The spray goes where it wants to, and the cacao butter on kitchen wall is not a problem you want to solve after the fact. For the decoration, a vegan tulle, thin, crisp, and it catches the light in a way that makes the whole thing feel finished rather than just complete. The rule I follow with Entremet decoration: 1 or 2 elements placed with intention. The velvet surface is doing a lot of visual work already. The decoration's job is just to complement it, not compete with it. And there are your layers. DACQUOISE at the bottom, that vivid orange mango gelée through the center, dark chocolate mousse holding everything in place. When it comes out like that, it's hard not to feel quietly pleased with yourself. You should be. Full recipe is written out below. The mango insert and chocolate mousse episodes are linked in the description if you want to go deeper on either of those. And I will upload vegan tulle recipe in a few days. So until then, have a wonderful day and I will see you there.